Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making slow cooker sous vide pot roast. Alright guys, I'm starting out here. I have roughly a little over a 2-pound chuck roast. Now I have sous vide cookers, but I figured I'd do this in a slow cooker because everybody has a slow cooker, guys. And I want you guys to experience how delicious sous vide food is. So I'm going to give this a try on my slow cooker. Now this is a Ninja multi-cooker, but I'm doing it on a slow cooker setting. So I'm going to start out by seasoning my chuck roast. And I'm going to keep my seasonings pretty simple. This is a new container of garlic salt, so please bear with me, guys. Had I known that, I would have opened it ahead of time. Alright. So I'm only going to season this with 3 seasonings. We're not going to go overboard. I'm going to put a little bit of garlic salt on it. And guys, the benefit of sous vide cooking is your food cooks in its own juices at a controlled temperature so it doesn't overcook and it stays super moist and tender. I'm going to put a little bit of onion powder on here. And I'm using things that you generally would have in your home, so I'm not doing nothing too fancy, because people said to me, you make really good food, Rick, but you use fancy equipment that I don't have. But just about everybody has a slow cooker these days. I'm going to pat that in, and I'm going to turn this over and season the other side. Grab a towel and wipe my hand off. A little more garlic salt. And if you're on a low sodium diet, granulated garlic or garlic powder work just fine for this. More onion powder and pepper. Now guys, some people when they sous vide, they use the fancy vacuum sealed bags, and a lot of people don't have a vacuum sealer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use just a regular Ziploc bag, because this cooks at a low enough temperature that this plastic bag can handle it without melting. I'm going to get my roast down in here. You want to try to get as much air out as you can, and I'm going to seal this up. Alright guys, now in my slow cooker here, I filled it halfway up with hot water. You want to use hot water right off the bat because it takes a while to heat it. Now I have this set on slow cooker high to get that water warm. I'm going to take our chuck roast that we put in the bag, I'm going to put down in the water. And I'm going to put my lid on here and leave the edge of the bag in between the lid and the slow cooker. Now what I'm going to do, guys, is once this here comes up to temperature where it starts to come to a gentle boil, I'm going to cut it down to slow cooker low and let it slow cook in there, slow cooker sous vide cook in there for about 6 hours. That should cook the roast through, and it will baste in its own juices, and it will maintain that temperature. You're probably saying, well, why can't I just slow cook it and not do sous vide? You could do that, guys, but you're going to notice a difference, because this meat's going to stay tender, or super moist and tender, sealed in that bag in its own juices, where in a slow cooker, it gets tender and it's moist, but it's not as moist because it's drying out, because it has the air to dry out in. So I'm going to let this come to a gentle boil, then I'm going to cut it back to slow cooker low, and we're going to let it go for about 6 hours in there and not even mess with it. Alright guys, my roast is done. Now a few things. When you do it in a slow cooker, do it on warm for about 8 hours. On low slow cook, it was too hot, the bag ripped open, so I had to re-season my roast. When I pulled it out, I put in a new bag and put it back in. So do it on warm, because warm gets up to about 175, 185 degrees for about 8 hours for a roast this size. But this thing is really tender. Now normally you would take it from your slow cooker, you'd heat up a skillet, a little oil, and sear it on both sides. I'm going to do that right in my Ninja multi-cooker because that has a saute sear feature. Okay, now that I have my Ninja multi-cooker all warmed up on the stovetop high setting, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. And guys, we're going to try to get a really nice sear on this roast because I want to make gravy in here then. And you need that brown on the bottom to get good flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and get my chuck roast in there. And like I said, guys, this is really fall apart tender, so it's going to have to go in 2 pieces. And I'm just going to fry that in there on each side till it's nice and golden brown. Alright guys, I seared my roast beef. You can see how nice and brown it is. And I tinted it in foil and left it rest. The gravy didn't work out because I didn't get enough brown on the bottom of the pot to make gravy because it's so super non-stick. I should have did it in a stainless steel skillet. Let's go ahead and fix up a plate and see what we got, guys. Guys, I also went ahead and made mashed potatoes and some green beans, and I had to use a instant gravy. Let me get in here and give this a try. Now, guys, you can see how nice and moist and tender that roast is. I got a little gravy on there. Yes, Dexter. Dexter's happy because I'm not eating chicken. That's really good, guys. Nice and tender. Moist. Good flavor. That's really delicious, guys. It wasn't hard at all. Like I said, the secret is when you do it in your slow cooker, fill your slow cooker up with hot water from the tap, put your roast beef in your bag, keep it on warm for about 8 hours. Don't go any higher than that. That's hot enough. And you'll notice the difference between sous vide pot roast and slow cooker pot roast. Alright, guys, there you have it. Slow cooker sous vide pot roast. Give it a try. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see ya.